Good morning and welcome again to Advanced Television Academy TV channel. This morning we're going to talk about VoD, Video on Demand, and we have with us five of the top executives from top providers to this industry. And as usual, first thing I'm going to do is ask them to briefly introduce themselves and where their company sits in the VoD ecosystem. So, Olivier.
So I'm from OpenTV, and OpenTV sits on two sides of the VoD ecosystem. So first, we're a middleware provider, so we provide essentially the operating system for television, and then we have a lot to do around VoD, especially around user interface and then core OS component like progressive download. So that's one side of our business, and then another side where we sit in is that we have an advertising business where we do campaign management solution. And one component of that is around VoD advertising and enabling VoD providers to insert ads into their catch-up TV services, for instance.
Nuruddin.
I'm Nuruddin Handan. I'm the Executive Vice President of Strategy and Communication of VAccess Group. VAccess is a well-known CAS DRM vendor in business for about 15 years now. And now we own also Orca Interactive, which has an interactive middleware as well as content accommodation system, meaning here I will be speaking about security for VoD, and that's the traditional business of VAccess, as well as about content accommodation system, including search and recommendation coming from Orca.
Jobst.
Yes, my name is Jobst Mühlbach. I'm with Eris, and I'm basically heading the on-demand solution business in Europe for Eris. Eris is providing a couple of products around on-demand, end-to-end. Principle, we are providing complete back-end systems for building an on-demand platform, as well as the servers, very low-end service, but also very high-end service, so scales pretty widely. We're also providing video equipment to ingest content to this platform, and we have a number of so-called value-added services that can be run on top of on-demand platforms. That includes, for instance, solutions for ad insertion or digital program insertion, which is widely deployed in North America, and that's something where I have some of my focus here in Europe nowadays.
Edward.
Hi, my name's Edward Allfrey from Tamberg, part of the Ericsson Group. We deliver solutions for video on demand in the back office, so enabling all the business functions of your on-demand platform, as well as the content management, so making sure as your catalogue of content scales, the operational costs don't scale with that, and you can handle thousands of ads through your VoD platform. And also in the advertising space, looking into targeted and different types of advertising and business models within the on-demand space.
Thanks. Mark.
I'm Marc Latouche. I work for Cisco Systems. As you know, Cisco is the leader in networking for the internet. And what we do provide is actually hardware, software, and service architectures for actually the overall internet. We do as well provide set-top box and a number of connected homes around the home gateways, and even a flip camera, which we recently acquired. And apart that, the role within my organization, IBSG, is actually to work with media companies and broadcasters to understand how actually to become profitable in VoD.
Thanks very much. Well, certainly we cover the whole waterfront, I think, in terms of provision. So maybe we can really solve some of the issues around VoD this morning. We'll see. I mean, VoD used to mean, quite a few years ago, premium movies. Now, of course, it's pretty much a catch-all term that encompasses everything, including time shifting and all kinds of exploitation of the long tail over the internet and via pay TV providers. It's hugely popular with users, but remains a major challenge for operators in terms of monetization and in terms of management and provision. I think it might be helpful if we start off, just defining or maybe redefining a little bit what we mean by VoD. It's come to mean so many different things. Olivier, how would you define VoD these days, and how should we define it, perhaps?
there's many different forms of VOD today. It's not only just the pay TV traditional VOD platform, which is essentially mimicking a pay-per-view. There's over-the-top provider, for instance, also provides VOD or some form of VOD services. YouTube on your television is also another form of VOD services. So I think the definition of VOD today is quite wide, and it's not necessarily using the traditional broadcast technology, but also other internet technology that are coming into play. So I think the definition of on-demand today is a very wide definition.
Nuruddin, I mean, perhaps we need to define it slightly better in some ways.
Well, I mean, VOD is actually not a new concept. It has been around for about 2 decades now, and 2 decades along the industry have been trying to solve the bottlenecks, being storage, network, and aiming at one goal, which is for an individual end user to get the piece of content he wants at the time he wants it, on hopefully on TV, because until recently was mainly on PC and it wasn't very successful. So there are many methods and around the VOD. I mean, we talk about transactional VOD, where you hopefully select, sometimes pay, and get the piece of video. We are talking about subscription, SVoD, where you pay once and you get all you want, all you can eat, kind of. And then you have the free VoD, or advertising supported VoD, where you will find all mainly short form videos, and it non-pay, in some cases deployed by pay TV operators trying to reduce the churn. In other cases, for commercial TVs to expand, hopefully, their advertising revenues. And there's also some distinction with regard to the delivery mechanism itself. It can be push VoD, for example, when it's a broadcast network, pushing content the provider is hoping that he will like, to a real transactional pull mechanism where you select and get it. And here as well, there are at least 2 methods, being streaming, particularly interested in live events kind of VOD, as well as download, where you download a piece of video and hopefully, and I think we will speak about later on, enjoy it on different devices wherever you want it. And a mix of the two, which is the progressive download, which is getting the best of each method.
Jobst, I mean, how do your customers look at VOD? Something that they've got to do in order to stay competitive, or something they're still very proactive about doing because they believe they can monetize it?
In principle, it depends on what state the customer is. So if it's a customer that does for a long time VOD, this customer is all of a sudden, looking to the market and sort of seeing certain competitions from various ends. And I think from that perspective, VOD has changed its face big time over the past years, and probably mostly driven by broadband internet coming in and providing video and providing new forms of enjoying video over the networks. So it's not just anymore transactional VOD, but it's all sorts of use cases around video, whether it's free video or subscription, and even down to forms like social content or community services. What we see definitely is that with this competition coming up and more players in the game of on-demand, our customers are more interested in upgrading their, let's say, their platforms, offering new services, offering new types of use cases that actually goes far beyond what I would say grandfather's what has been in the past. So it's in principle all those cases that we've seen that were very creatively developed in the internet, but at the same time, trying to leverage the quality of movies and A-class content still to the user.
So Edward, I mean, we started off trying to define what VOD is these days.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got to a point where a few years ago, VOD was to a cable set-top box or an IP set-top box, and it was about movies, and it was some sort of some catch-up content. But the fact that now the technology and the internet is meaning that anyone can provide on-demand services, not just to a set-top box, but direct to the TV or a number of different devices in the home. So we're seeing a huge amount of competition come into the market, and whereas originally a cable operator went out there and he launched it because he knew that some revenues he could make out of it and because he could get one over the sort of satellite competition. Now we're seeing the satellite guys come in and say, well, I can deliver this service now, and also over the top and pay DTT and all of this. So everybody's in it, and that means at one level it becomes a hygiene product. So you've got to be able to do it because everyone you're competing with in your market is also doing it. But at another level, it allows people to compete in different spaces. So, we see cable operators who are offering their VoD service over the top to outside their network. So they don't cover a bit of a network, but now they can deliver their on-demand services to bits of the network they couldn't reach before. So it enables more business models as well. So it's a really exciting time, both it becoming sort of everyone having to do it now, and it's really driven by the consumer desire. We at Ericsson, we interviewed 35,000 customers at the beginning of this year. What do they want from an advanced TV platform? Well, I tell you what they want. They want the same content they've been watching, but they want to watch it at any time, and they want to take that content and watch it on any device in the home. And that's just what we're delivering, what they want.
And we'll come on later to how on earth we try and monetize that. Mark, your company has been as responsible as any other for bringing the blessing of the internet upon us, and broadband delivery. I mean, how does Cisco look at VoD?
Well, we see it from 2 points. First, we're trying to understand the trend, and we are publishing what we call a visual networking index, which shows exactly what's happened on the internet. And what we've seen is that from 2008 to 2013, actually the internet traffic will be multiplied by 5. But what is more important is that today...
That's traffic full stop or video traffic?
Traffic full stop.
Right.
But what is more important is that in 2008, so today, the video represents something maybe a third of that traffic. And we expect that by 2013, that will be 91% of the traffic. So I think we are even at a very, very early stage of any sort of traffic, not just the VOD, but the streaming, the download, the peer-to-peer. And interestingly enough, the peer-to-peer is starting to decrease.
Yes, I saw that, yeah.
While initially we expected to be still the dominant. So we do still see different type of network and protocols. We still think we are at the very early days. There's still the need to build actually the right environment, the right IP network to provide the right experience that the customer expects, because there's still a lot of frustration on the time to download, on the time for the streaming, on the quality you get on your screen. So yeah, we are at the very, very early days of providing a true interactive experience, because we are talking about on-demand, but still we are still working very much in the old TV where I get a VOD and I watch it. Now you could think about ways where I watch a video and actually I ask friends around the network to watch the same video at the same time as me. So I think there will be a completely change of paradigm about how we do even watch alone the VOD or amongst the network.